What's up? What's up? What's going on? We are live from Florida. Hey, good morning, buddy. What's up? Resurrected. What's happening, my man? What's happening? Hello, hello. Hitting it up from the sunshine state today. Actually down here on vacation. But in this world, there is no vacations. Flip, if you're a Christian and you requested up to debate, give me just a second. We'll literally just turn this bad boy on. So we're going to let a couple folks pile up in here, and then we'll get up on it. Anyhow, y'all might have heard that in Huntsville, Alabama, this October, the Rocket City Reason Conference is going down. You can come hang out with some of the biggest atheist debaters and YouTubers on the planet. That's October 23rd, 24th, and 25th in Huntsville, Alabama. And you can get your tickets for that at rocketcityreason.com. We got our little dog with us on vacation this time. Yeah, give me just a second here, buddy. Will do, Flip, as long as you're a Christian. But anyway, yeah, got our little awful dog with us on vacation down here. I'm not in my usual little filming room, so this is a totally different setup for me. Might even sound a little different. But anyway, we're going to knock out some time here. Let's see what's happening. Maybe we can get some good debates and discussions in here today. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Ain't that what we like? Anyway, alright, let's go ahead and, let's see. Flip was here. Who else we got? Let's see. Alright. Let's go ahead, screw it. Let's get the day rolling here. I don't know what's happening. Oh, here we go.
Yo.
You got the fiber internet. What's up, Flip?
Yeah, not much, bro.
Good deal. You over 18?
Yep.
You're a Christian?
I'm a Hebrew Israelite.
Oh, okay. Good enough. Well, which one of these topics you want to talk about with us today?
Can we talk about middle school dropout?
Well, that's not an actual topic. I dropped out of middle school.
So what's the topics? Because it's all on the same font and it's on the same stanza.
Where the numbers start. So where it says number 1 there, it says God is cruel and unjust. Number 2, God condones slavery and grape. And number 3, Jesus fulfills 0 prophecy.
All right, we can do one. So how do you know what, under your worldview, what's just and unjust?
We have actual standards to judge that by, whether you punish innocent people for the crimes of the guilty, whether the punishment matches the crime, whether they're fair and equality, stuff like that. That's actual standards for justice.
Okay, are those standards objective or subjective?
I guess they're subjective.
Okay, why?
Do you have an objective standard you want to use?
Yeah, that's found within the Bible.
Oh, okay. Well, what's the objective standard from the Bible for justice?
Well, there are whole books dedicated to that and whole chapters. I couldn't give it to you generalized.
You don't have a generalized standard of justice?
No, because if you generalize something, it becomes vague. Hence, generalization.
Well, make it vague then.
But what would be the purpose of me saying I'm committed to this if it's vague and not something I'm committed to? Because it is vague.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what to tell you, man. I guess we'll just have to talk to somebody that can actually describe whatever they're wanting to talk about, because this ain't going to get us anywhere.
Right, but I think we can actually talk about what you said when you said the standard you used to say X is, or like X is bad is subjective. Why ought anyone be committed to your subjective standard?
Because I have actual standards. Like, would
That's
you
just
say it's
circular.
unjust to punish the innocent for the crimes of the guilty?
I think it's context dependent, but back to what you said. You said I have
Okay, so what
standards, therefore you should
context
listen to the
would
standards.
make it just to punish innocent people?
Actually, let me just grant that it isn't, just to move on with the conversation.
Oh, okay. Well, perfect.
If we
Well, that's why
if we
God
go
is
back,
unjust, because he punishes innocent people for the crimes of the guilty, like David and
okay,
Bathsheba's infant son
sure.
and the
So
slaughter of
once
the
again,
Amalekites.
right, I can grant all of this just to try to get you to your point and like bring out what I'm
Sure.
actually trying to say. So you said the justification for why one ought to be committed or be committed to your moral system is because I have standards. But I have standards
Yeah.
as well, yet I disagree. So do you have
Yet you
any
can't
stronger
give me a single one
justification?
of them.
Well, I can just make one up on the spot and just say I have a standard. That doesn't really
Well,
change
you can
anything.
use actual standards. You say you have objective standards of justice from the Bible. You could use one of those.
Yep,
Is that
sure, but
possible?
you're missing the point I'm trying to make here.
Oh, okay. What's
So for you to say that something is unjust in your worldview doesn't really matter. It doesn't really correspond to reality. Because all you're saying is,
yeah, it does.
I have this and I believe this. Okay, why ought anyone be committed to what you believe?
Because if you don't like that, like if you agree with me that punishing innocent people is bad, then anybody should agree with me and hold to my standard here.
So people should agree with me, and if they don't, they're wrong. That doesn't actually tell me why someone ought to be committed.
If you don't like punishing innocent people with the guilty, you should agree with me. Yeah.
That doesn't really bring justification as to why you're just saying people should agree
Well,
with me.
give
I
us a
could say
better
the
one
same.
then. Like use your objective standard and give us a better one.
Well,
to
you're
go
the
with.
one. Hold on. You're the one making the claim that God is cruel and unjust. So you would have to justify that.
Yeah. So you agreed with me that punishing innocent people for the crimes of the guilty is unjust, right?
I granted that for the sake of the argument to show you how this doesn't work under your commitments.
Okay. Well, how does that not work? Explain it to us.
Because you haven't really justified why anyone ought to be committed to your moral system. You
Because
said people should
you're
agree with
punishing
it.
innocent people for the crimes of guilty people. That's not good, right?
That's just
Would you agree
repeating
with
the
that?
claim. Wait, that's making
Would
a
you agree
claim.
with it or not?
That's not justification. That's just making a claim.
All right. Well, all right. You mind just dropping yourself down? We're not going to get anywhere in this conversation, obviously.
All right, bro. Take care.
Have a good one. Clearly, Christians have no standard of justice once again. Well, they have objective standards. They just can't bring them up. It's far too complicated to talk about here. Anyway, let's bring up Greg here.
I think what the individual before me, before he dropped down,
Hold
was
on a
trying
second.
to
Let
be.
me introduce you here for the TikTok. Are you over 18?
I am.
Awesome. Are you one of the Christians or Hebrew Israelites?
I was a Christian.
You're not one now, though?
Oh no. Yeah.
We're just looking to talk to Christians at the moment, though, buddy. But I appreciate you coming up, though. Anyway, if you are a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite, and you can actually give us some sort of standard to judge something by, that would be great. I did learn that from Minnesota's genius. Says a lot about somebody. Says a lot about somebody in the way they deal with themselves there. Anyway, if you are a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite, please come on up and talk to us. And please be able to give us some sort of standard, or at least agree with something, for God's sake. Or at least agree with it and then stay agreed with it. If you're going to agree with it for the sake of something, then you actually still have to agree with it. So, anyway, you are being misguided by the devil. right. If we talked, beliefs become bias. All right. Let's see. Anime, PFP, and haven't read your Bible. This tracks. Okay. This tracks what? I mean, I really don't even mind, but it's just hilarious that they want a standard. And when you give them one, they have no idea what you're talking about. It's pretty wild. Pretty wild. Anyway, if you are a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite, come on. Dang, this thing only been going for 10 minutes now. Might actually have a really good stream here. Old algo's moving, 10 minutes in. That's pretty good. Anyway, certainly we'll get somebody to talk to like that. Wish I had longer to talk yesterday because that was, man, we had it piled up in the queue. There's a bunch of good ones. Anyway, they are sometimes. Yes. Anyway, I'm chilling out here in Florida. Out here on this little sun couch in a little sunroom. It's pretty awesome. Looking for some good debates with preferably some actual intellectuals who are capable of a adult conversation. Good question. They don't know that. They don't know anything. But you know what it is. Alright, well, maybe we got somebody here. What does that say? Truth in motion. Alright, let's bring the truth in motion here. Truth
What's
in
going
motion.
on, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? Are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm over 18.
Cool. Are you one of the Christians or Hebrew Israelites?
Oh man, I missed the bottom. I'm neither. I would say I'm more agnostic, or I'm more Muslim, if anything. But my bad. I didn't read the bottom. If it's only for Christians, Israelites, I'll let somebody else come up.
Yeah, no problem, man. Appreciate you trying though. Anyway, Christians or Hebrew Israelites? My writing is kind of small there, but can't have it too big or it'll hide behind me there. Somebody just said the Bible that says there's no God. Strange. Anyway, if you are a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite, you are who we want to talk to. So come on up. I've got a little while. An hour off my normal time too. It's a little weird. Gonna be used to it today. Alright. Shit, we're still only 13 minutes in. I feel like we've been going for a minute, but we really haven't. I feel like it's a build up to a good day. But anyway, let's see if we can get somebody in here. No, we're not. We're more like in middle Florida. We're at some state parks kind of thing where they got all these, what do you call them? These big ass springs and stuff. But anyway, there's supposed to be like all kind of like crazy wildlife out here. There's supposed to be like manatees and there's some monkeys. We heard, and otters all over the place, and gators and venomous snakes and stuff like that. So ought to be a wild day. Well, we're just gonna do some kayaking, hiking, and stuff like that. It'll be fun. Bro, AB is so slow. Bro, ab is, I don't know what that means. AB is so slow. Or ab is so slow. Anyway, Welcome in, everybody. The show is just getting started. We just now hit being ab is so slow. I don't know what ab is, man. We are just now hitting 15 minutes in, so we just got the show started for today. Big Money what's that say? Big Money. Oh, McRich. I thought it said McRib for a second, like the McDonald's McRib thing. Hey, Big Money, you there?
Shabbat shalom, my friend.
What's up? Are you over 18?
I sure am.
Alright. Are you a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite?
I'm a Hebrew Israelite.
Alright, so which one of these topics you want to talk about here?
I want to talk about how I have fantasies about my 88-year-old Spanish teacher.
Man, some people got sad fucking lives. Anyway. I don't know if that's a troll. It's just fucking sad. The fucking idiots out here got nothing better to do. Anyway. Hey, there's somebody here named Epicurus of Samos. That's pretty awesome. It's my favorite philosopher. Alright, let's see. Let's try Alex. Birds are loud out here. Oh, no Alex. Never mind. Oh, wait. I do have an Alex. It's a different Alex. Hey, Alex, you there?
Yeah, man.
Hey, what's
I
up?
can't
Roger?
I can't stay too long.
That's alright.
Yeah, 45.
You a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite?
Christian, yeah, man.
Awesome. So which one of these topics you want to talk about, bud?
The first one. I found God in my 20s, man, and now I just from what I've seen of God, he's pretty loving and helpful and kind, man.
What about when he's doing stuff that's not kind?
Again, I look at that as free will, people making bad choices, and that there's a demonic influence on the world now because of just bad choices from humans, man.
No, I'm talking about stuff God himself does.
Again, I hear what you're saying, and and I'm with you, right? Like I'm not against you. I know that like the understanding of God's pretty hard, man. And the thing is, I know God's real, man. So I'm just trying to figure it out myself, right? Because this is a horrible world, dude. It's an unfair world, and there's horrible things going on. But at the same time, I don't understand God's mind, right? And I know it's way above my mind, right? And now that I've had things happen, it's like knowing jail's real, for example, right? You don't want to believe that there's a jail where they put people who are bad, but at the same time, it's really real, right? And now that I know that there's a God who is kind of in control of all this, even though there's some really bad stuff going on, I still can't just close my eyes and believe it's not real when I know it's real, man. Why does he do bad stuff or allow bad things to happen? I don't really have the answers to that, but...
Well, I'm talking about unjust stuff, like he's literally unjust.
Like allowing men to unalive women and children and like that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, he ordered them to do it. He ordered babies be murdered and women be raped, and he allowed slavery. He says you can sell your daughter as a sex slave. He allowed Moses to date child sex slaves. Like, this is...
And I get that.
Just love or...
No, and I'm not even disagreeing with you, man. Because I've read the Bible probably about 9 times. And the Old Testament's pretty harsh, right? And I haven't seen God like that in my life at all. So... I like to look at the attributes of Jesus, and I think that's a guy that just went around helping and loving and healing people. However, the God from the Old Testament, where he drowned everybody, It's like, what's all that about, right? Um, and again, I don't
Yeah,
really have
that's
the
what I call injustice. That's why I'm not a Christian or a Jew, because I'm not worshiping an unjust, seemingly evil God.
yeah, and I get that, right? However, when I received the Holy Spirit in my car and heard His audible voice, man, there was so much love in that. Um, I had scales come off my eyes in church, seen in the Spirit, and to me, everything was buried. The only thing God ever told me to do audibly was just give, and I've been devoting my life to helping and loving and trying to do good things, man. So that's the God I'm serving, right? Um, as
Well, I mean, it
for
sounds like a God you're making up, though. It doesn't sound like the God of this book
what
necessarily.
I think me and you should keep talking because I do believe once you get baptized and cry out to God, He'll give you His Holy Spirit, and man, your life will just change for well, my life's just changed for the better, man. I'm married, my whole
Well, I've been
family's
baptized twice,
as an adult.
as a child and an adult.
Really, eh? That's interesting. Um,
Yeah, I was a Christian over 20 years, actually.
oh, I don't know then, man. That's kind of weird, dude. I've been going to Bible studies 20 years, and I like listening to people's stories on how they have a relationship with the living God, and some of it's amazing, man. Like, yeah, like this one guy, he did prison ministry. I loved listening to how the Holy Spirit would lead him, and my pastor, he had cancer and he passed away, and I prayed for him and nothing happened, but I have seen God do supernatural healings, and the holy people I notice, man, I try to hang around them because I see God using them more than your average person, man.
So you got over God doing the really bad stuff. How'd you do that?
I just haven't seen it in my life, right? From knowing God, man, I haven't seen um God direct me in any of those Old Testament kind of things, right? Um, I
What do you want to use some New Testament stuff from Jesus?
I got 2 minutes, man, and then I got to go to work. But I'd like to talk to you after I'm done work, man.
I might be back on tomorrow. I probably won't be on when you get
That
off work today, though.
5:30. So I do 9 hour and a half, well, 10 hour shifts basically, man. I got to get going, but we'll talk again, man. I like your conversation, and I'm not arguing with you. I see what you see, man. The Old Testament God, that's pretty harsh stuff, right? So I'm not
Well, it's the same
against.
God of the New Testament, though.
Uh I'm living in this world too, man, and it's a hard, unfair, cruel, manipulative world. But at the same time, I know there's a God, so I still want to figure this out too, man.
I hear you.
We'll talk tomorrow. Okay, bye.
Yeah, have a good day, man.
You too,
Don't
man.
work too hard. That was a long time. All right, let's see. Let's try the next one here. Oh, there's no next one, maybe. Now it's got a kind of a pointless conversation, though. Sup, Eddie? Much love back at you, buddy. Much love back at you. It's kind of weird out here. The light's different. I'm not enclosed like I usually am, so it sounds different. This is all right. Well, we are only 24 minutes into the show. We've had a bunch of people come up, but we haven't had an actual uh, good debate here yet. Oops. All right. So, if you are a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite, come on up and have a conversation with us. Pray the Lord don't meet me. I'll have some harsh criticisms for this Lord. And numerous ones. We're going to need an attorney to talk about all this awful stuff. The place I'm staying at has fiber internet though, so that's pretty awesome. These damn birds are loud out here too. The birds haven't took over the spring in Alabama yet, but they have in Florida, down here in the damn jungle. Alright, let's see here. Oh yeah, Resurrected, if you're still there, I sent you a message, man. I was just asking how you get them words on your screen up here on the live without a backdrop. But anyway, I wonder, are you there?
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Doing good, man. Thanks for asking.
I have a,
Over there,
yeah, I have a question. Do you remember a guest you had on your platform named Dom Dot that talked to you and Joshua Bowen?
Not right off memory.
Y'all were talking about slavery.
Sounds like something we talk about. Yeah, I don't remember the person specifically though.
Okay, well, from my understanding, that the discussion it ended up that Joshua Bowen admitted that it's not chattel slavery in the Bible, but he still sees it as chattel slavery.
No, he didn't admit that. No.
Okay, all right.
No, definitely not. You misheard that.
I'm just asking because I've had about 20 people message me and said that happened, and then y'all ended up putting them off the platform. So I was just wondering if that happened.
Not to my knowledge, it didn't happen because this is definitely chattel slavery in the Bible.
Okay, it definitely isn't, but
It definitely is.
why is it chattel slavery?
Because the definition of chattel slavery is owning people as property, and the Bible definitely permits that.
That's the only definition or the only tenets of chattel slavery?
Do you know another one?
Oh yeah. So the only way
What's your definition of chattel slavery?
I'm getting ready to tell you. So the only way you can compare chattel slavery is to when the word originally came out in the late 1800s, which means it came out during antebellum slavery, correct? The word was in.
No, chattel is movable property.
Okay. The word it's not movable property. The word came out during chattel slavery, during the antebellum slavery. It was not out before then. So the only way they can compare the word is to what happened in chattel slavery.
The word's irrelevant. The concept is what's important.
Okay,
it's owning people as property.
That's not the concept, because in chattel slavery...
Yes, it is. It says chattel slavery is a severe form of human enslavement where one person is legally treated as personal property or chattel.
Okay.
That's the definition. I just
Cool.
read it to you.
I know, but there are tenets to chattel slavery. So, in other words, would you agree in chattel slavery you must have oppression?
You own people as property, like just owning somebody's oppression.
Okay, thank you. You agree that it's oppression. In chattel slavery, must you have kidnapping?
No.
Show me how you can own a person as a slave and don't kidnap them.
It says in the Bible you can't
That's not what I'm
it's
asking.
stealing people.
We're talking about chattel slavery. I haven't even gotten to the Bible yet. So in chattel slavery, must you have kidnapping?
No.
Show me anywhere in history that there was a slave that was forced into labor and oppressed that was not kidnapped.
They were taking war captive.
That's kidnapping.
Okay,
taking
whatever.
them. You're taking
kidnapping.
them.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's bad
thank you.
either way. So just call it kidnapping, man.
Okay, thank you.
Actual definitions don't work very well sometimes.
Because y'all make up your own definitions, and then when you're confronted on it, you run from the definition.
No, I just read you an actual definition, and then you say that's not it. So that's how it's actually going here.
I can pull up definitions that actually have these tenets in it. Okay, because they actually
pull
teach.
them up then.
They
pull
actually
them up and read them to us.
Sure, I'm doing it right now. They actually teach this in school, in seminary, what chattel slavery is. So in chattel slavery, must you have forced labor without pay?
Sure.
Okay. In chattel slavery, must you own somebody as property like you own them as cattle or chattel, like you said?
Do you own chattel slaves like chattel? Yes. The answer
Okay,
is
thank
yes.
you. In chattel slavery, must you
You're welcome.
must you strip them of their rights and who they are, and take away all their autonomy?
Yep.
Show me any of that in the Bible, and I can show you where God gave all those commandments and said you can't do those things.
Okay, Leviticus 25. As
Uh-huh.
for the male and female slaves whom you may
Yep.
have, it is from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves. You may
Right.
also acquire them from among the aliens residing with you, from their families who are with you, who have been born into your land, and they
Yep.
may be your property. You may
Okay,
keep them
cool.
as a possession for your children after you, for them to inherit as property.
Cool.
These you may treat as slaves, but as for your fellow Israelites, no one shall rule over the other with harshness.
Cool. In verse 44, and it says you can go to your neighboring nations and buy slaves. Where are they buying them from?
From the nations around you.
Where?
And
I
from
know
their
they get-
families
Okay.
of the foreigners residing with you.
No. 44 and 45 are different. Don't run to 45. It says the people that's in your gates. We're on 44. Don't run to 45.
Okay, then you get them
hold-
from the nations that are around
Okay.
you.
You get them from the nation. So I'm in Egypt, which is a nation around me. Where do I go to go get them?
You're in a place where you can acquire a male.
How? How do I get them? Where do I go? I can't
The
just walk up
nations
to
around you. I don't know
Okay,
how
you're
to
not
be any clearer than that.
you're not tracking. I need you to track. I'm in the nation
Okay.
around me. I'm in Egypt. I want to go buy a slave. Where do
Then
I
you're
go?
in a place where you can buy one. If it's
And
a nation around you, you
how
can get a
do I
slave
buy?
there.
How do I buy them? Where do I buy them from? How
From
can
a
I go?
slave seller, from a person
Cool,
who's selling slaves.
Thank you. I go to a slave seller.
Yeah.
The person I'm buying, is he kidnapped?
Yeah.
Then you once again, Exodus 21:16. I can't buy a kidnapped slave. So you just
Sure you
defeated
can.
your whole
You
argument.
can't
Just on
kidnap
one
them
thing.
yourself and make
No, it
them a
does not.
slave. Is
Hold
what
on.
that's
Go
forbidden.
to Exodus
Yes, it
21:16 and read it.
I know what it's talking about,
It
stealing
does not
a
say
person and
it
making
does-
them a slave.
It says you can't buy a Hebrew slave. You can't be in
That's not
possession
what
of a
it
Hebrew
says.
slave. No, it says you can't buy a slave, be in possession of
Not
a
in Exodus,
slave,
it don't.
nor sell a slave. You can't
Not in
buy.
Exodus, it
You
don't.
can't buy a slave. You just defeated
Not
your
in
own
Exodus,
argument.
it don't. No, I didn't. You're just
Yes,
making shit up.
Exodus 21:16 literally says you cannot buy a
Exodus
slave.
21:2 says, when you buy a male Hebrew slave, he shall serve 6 years.
Hold
But
up.
in the 7th years, he
He
shall go out a
sells
free person.
himself.
So tell me where in
Okay.
Exodus 21 it says you cannot
Okay.
buy a male Hebrew slave.
So here we go.
I've just
Can
read you
an
where it says you can buy a male Hebrew
Hold up.
slave.
Can an Israelite own another Israelite as a slave?
According to Exodus 21, you can.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, because that word literally
Okay,
means
well, I'll read it
he-
one more time. I
he
know
sold
words are hard
himself.
for
Go
some
ahead.
people. So it says, when you buy a male Hebrew slave,
Uh-huh.
he shall serve 6
Uh-huh.
years. But in the 7th year, he shall go out a free persons without debt.
So he's not a slave, and you can't own a Israelite can't own another
That's a
Israelite
debt
as a
slave.
slave.
That's a debt slave, and it says
hold
there's
on.
a whole
So,
little. Hold on,
Cool.
listen. There's a whole little
Debt
part
slave-
here where you can trick him into being your slave for
You-
life.
No, you're not tricking him. Once again, is a debt slave indentured servitude?
Yeah,
Is a debt slave indentured servitude?
yeah,
Is indentured servitude slavery?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Stay with that. So now let's go to antebellum slavery. Were white people indentured servants during slavery?
No,
Yes, really? Tell me how the state of Georgia was founded. The colony of Georgia. Tell me how it was
I
founded.
have no idea. I'm talking about Exodus
Okay.
21.
So here we go. You just said indentured servitude was slavery. The colony of Georgia was founded by King George, and literally he only sent white people to Georgia as indentured servants because literally black people couldn't be there. So you're saying the entire colony of Georgia was with white slaves because they were indentured servants. You
I
want
don't
to
know
stick
what the
with
hell you're
that?
talking about, man. Anyway,
I
let's
know,
just read.
'cause you don't
let's
know
read
scripture.
Exodus 21, verse 2 here one more time, since apparently
You
it's
can
really
read
hard
it
for
again.
you. When you buy
You can-
a
hold on.
male Hebrew
Okay.
slave, does this say you can
Okay.
buy a male Hebrew slave or not?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Because
So when it
Israelite,
says when you
hold
buy
up,
a male
hold up,
Hebrew slave, to
hold
you
up.
that actually
You
means
just
you can't
admitted
buy a male Hebrew slave.
you're contradicting yourself. You just admitted an Israelite can't own another Israelite as a slave. They are literally
That's in
indentured servants.
Leviticus 25. This is Exodus 21.
I know. Israelite can't
Okay,
own
so
another.
I need you
So
to
do I
listen.
need?
You're
Hold
going to
up.
have
Do
to
I need to
follow
get
with
the
me.
verse?
Listen.
Do I need to
No,
get you the
stop
verse that
talking.
literally says you can't?
Listen. I'm fixing to just drop you if you don't actually engage in this conversation here. Listen to my words very closely and then unmute yourself and answer me. When verse 2 says, when you buy a male Hebrew slave, is that saying when you buy a male Hebrew slave, or is it saying you cannot buy a male Hebrew slave? Which one is it?
They're not bought as in buying chattel because an
It
Israelite
says
can't
when
own
you
another.
buy a
All
male
right,
Hebrew
you're going to overtalk
slave,
me. So you don't want the answer.
when you buy, you're going to have to address what I'm saying.
I am addressing it. You just don't want to hear it.
Okay, so when it says when you buy a male Hebrew slave, show us in Exodus 21 where it says you cannot buy a male Hebrew slave.
Hold up. Are the first 5 books of the book the law?
This is Exodus 21, my man.
I know because it's in the first 5 books. All of the law goes together. So okay,
you're going to have to address
so
verse 2.
So
Does it say you can or cannot buy a male Hebrew slave?
You can't. I'm going to read a verse.
Where does it say can't? Where's the word can't?
I'm going to read a verse that tells you that an Israelite cannot own another Israelite as a slave.
That's in Leviticus 25. I'm asking you about Exodus 21, verse 2.
Hold up. I know. That's why it all goes together. See, you're running from the fact that it all goes together, and you're trying to fit something that's not
if
there.
If you don't answer my question, I'm fixing to drop you and move on to the
please
next
drop
person.
me because I did, and you're wrong, and all of your guests
actually
heard it.
just drop
so
yourself
you got caught
since
again.
You can't read.
You can't read. You haven't read the Bible. You read a verse.
I'm reading it to you right now,
Dude,
and you refuse to answer my question about what I'm actually reading you.
Okay. Read Leviticus 25:40.
Hebrew slave.
Read Leviticus 25:40.
I know what Leviticus. You're going to have to address what I'm reading right now.
I am addressing it.
Leviticus 25.
It
says when you buy a male Hebrew slave, he shall serve you 6 years, and in the 7th years he shall go out a free person.
Okay.
So does this say you can or cannot buy? You know what? Fuck off. You fucking idiots. God damn. Sorry, Forrest. Just taking opposition at the moment. Anyway, if you are a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite who is capable of an actual conversation, please come talk to us. Oh man, it gets crazy in here. Oh boy. Yes, I have a mental disorder. I have a disorder where when I read a word that says you can buy a male Hebrew slave and somebody tells me I'm lying and it says you can't and then proceeds to not answer me when I say where does it say that, then yeah, that's my mental disorder coming right out of there. Yeah. Oh, resurrected. No, I want to, but I do not know how. So no, I just do TikTok and then I put the replay on YouTube on the daily. Yeah, straight up says it. It says when you buy a male Hebrew slave, he shall serve 6 years, but in the 7th year he shall go out a free person without debt. It's pretty damn clear. I mean, you would think it would be anyway. Of course, it's not clear to a unclear mind. Let's see here. PM, are you there? Or wait a minute, what was it? Oh, shampoo. That was weird. The word changed. Shampoo, are you there? I don't know what that is, but it's not on purpose. It's weird the name changed anyway. Alright. Let's bring up you know. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I want you to read Leviticus 40, 39, and 40 out loud.
Say that again.
Read Leviticus 40.
Are
Leviticus
you
20.
over 18?
Yes, I'm over 18. Read Leviticus.
Are you a
20.
Christian or a
I
Hebrew
am,
Israelite?
I'm a Christian. Read Leviticus 25, 39 through 40 out loud, please.
All right, 39 through 40. If any who are dependent on you become so impoverished that they sell themselves to you, you shall not make them serve as slaves. They shall remain with you as hired or bound laborers. They shall serve you until the year of Jubilee, and they and their children shall go out from your authority. They shall go back to their own family and return to their ancestral property, for they are my servants whom I brought out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as slaves or are sold. You
Okay.
shall not rule over them with harshness, but you shall fear the Lord your God. As for the male and female slaves whom you may have, that is from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
now that
So,
we've read that, let's jump on back. Now that you're satisfied there, let's jump on back to Exodus 21 and read that one again.
sure.
It says, when you buy a male Hebrew slave, he shall serve 6 years, but in the 7th year he shall go out a free person without debt. So,
Okay.
yeah, you have Leviticus 25 forbidding the buying or selling of a male Hebrew slave if they try to sell themselves to you, but Exodus 21 clearly says you can buy a male Hebrew slave.
So here we go. Then that means you got an issue that you ran from.
No, that means the Bible has an issue.
The
not
Bible
me.
does-
This is a contradiction.
Thank you. You just proved my point. It's not a contradiction. Thank you. That's all I wanted you to
It
do.
is.
So, okay, cool. You stay
One
with the
says you
contradiction.
can buy a
proved my
male
point.
Hebrew
Thank you.
slave, and the
You
other
can't
says you
own a
can't.
Hebrew
That's
slave
called
as a slave. You
contradiction.
have a good day. I proved my point.
Yeah, fuck off, you lying mother. Proved your point. You didn't prove shit. Some people just live in their own little world, don't they? I proved that you can't buy a male Hebrew slave because Leviticus 25 says that, even though Exodus 21 clearly says you can. So which one are we going with, buddy? Which one's the authority here, Leviticus or Exodus? Let me switch accounts and get back up here so I can get my last word in and think I did something. Oh my goodness. Anyway, if you are a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite, preferably an honest one capable of actual conversation here, come on up and talk with us. Come on up and talk with us. It's funny how like people just completely discard some verses with the others. That's why he had to refuse to address Exodus 21 so he could try to make his point about a male Hebrew slave. Unfortunately, we didn't. Chattel slavery is clearly a thing, unfortunately. So, yeah, you got destroyed either way, buddy. Either way. Anyway, Tyler, you there?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man? Are you over
Hey.
18?
So I was born Roman Catholic and then changed my religion to Christianity. And I realized the Bible was just a code. You know the Bible's just a code, right?
Yeah, are you over 18?
Am I what?
Are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm 35.
Okay, cool. All right, so which one of these are we talking about here?
All of them. Every religion, every aspect known to man that is a religious quality. All
I'm
of
just
them
talking
lead
about
back.
Christianity.
Well, I know what you're talking about. Christianity is the same as Buddhism. It's the same as
It's not the same.
Okay, but listen. Just listen to me. Jesus went to the mountain for 40 days to get ready to face the devil. Muhammad stayed in a cave for 40 years. Okay? When they fast for that long, only using water, and it's in every religion. You guys can go out and look at this yourself. Your chakras are raised and your third eye is activated through the sacred oil that goes up your
Third
spine.
eye?
Yes, your third eye.
That's your butthole, right?
No, it's your pineal gland
Oh.
in your brain.
Oh.
So you have oil that goes from the base of your spine up the 33 vertebrae and into your third eye, your pineal gland. And what that does is when the Bible talks about the waters that flood the gates, that's what it's talking about. And it's in Christianity, it's in Buddhism, it's in Hebrew, it's in Egyptian code, it's in every single thing. The ones that would fast and only use purified water. Now, I'm not talking about the water that we buy from the store that's purified. I'm talking about it's boiled down and then put through clay to get the minerals that they need, and then drink. And it's only that they consume for 40 days and 40 nights. And then the Bible says that God is within you. Well, when you go within, when you meditate and when you're on fast, you actually speak to God. Because just like the Bible says in Christianity, right? That God isn't a building. Okay, Jesus
That's
isn't a
neat, but
building.
what are we debating here? Hello?
I'm reading it.
Oh yeah, we're just looking for debates,
Middle
man. I'm
school.
not really interested.
Well, I'm just saying you should
Bible
be
codes.
interested in what I just said because of the fact of.
Well, I'm not. This is a debate channel.
Okay, so let's debate about it.
Okay. Which one of these topics you want to debate on?
Atheist, one God is cruel and unjust.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
gods. Okay. So what do you want to say about any of this? Because
I'll say God is cruel and unjust.
that God's cruel and unjust, but you're God.
No, the God of the Bible.
The God of the Bible is talking about us.
I'm talking about the God of the Bible.
Yeah, Jesus went within us. He departed when he came back to life. He literally says, "I'm going within you, all of you, and you have to search within." So if you're not searching within and you don't realize that you are a God, then what are you even having these conversations about?
So you're the God of the Bible?
We all are. Jesus is within every single one.
You created the universe in 7 days?
No, he
6
did.
days?
He did, but then he went in
Well,
within
you just said
us.
you're the God of the Bible.
So we are.
So is God in you, or are you God?
God is within us, and to follow him and become God-like in the image of him.
Well, how do we get God out of us?
You don't. You can't. You just, if you choose not to follow him, you'll never be anointed.
Okay, so
what?
Thanks for
let me
coming
ask you,
out, man. But I don't think we're going to get onto anything of substance here. I don't even know what we're talking about. Anyway, let's try the next one here. Let's see. Oh, Danny, you there?
Yeah.
What's up, man? Are you over 18?
I'm 70 years old.
I hear you. Are you a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite?
I just deconstructed from Christianity. It's pretty interesting just a year ago. Not bad for an old man to finally wake up.
Hey, better late than never, huh?
Yeah.
I hear you, buddy. Well, you got something you want to say real quick? We're really just looking for
Nothing. I'm just going to applaud your intelligence for your education level and stuff. You're on the right track.
Thank you, man. I don't think I have much of a education level, but I do have basic reading comprehension, and fortunately, that's all you need to figure out what's going on in this crazy book here. All right. But yeah, W for deconstruction at 70. That's really cool, man. Really, really cool. What happened? Oh, well, I guess we don't have another person there. Anyway, if you are a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite, the algorithm is moving today. So that's pretty awesome. Come on up and talk with us. I wonder if I'm getting different people because I'm in a different region that I'm live streaming from right now. I'm usually in Alabama, now I'm in Florida, so maybe it's a regional thing, but I feel like I'm talking to different people than usual. Anyway, let's try the next one here. Let's see. It's taking a second to load. Oh, Angel Bird, you there?
Yeah, you can call me loving bird. Bless up the family.
Hey, are you over 18?
Me a Rasta.
Are
Rastafarian.
you? Oh, you're not a Christian?
Yeah, Rastafarian is Christianity.
Oh, is it? I had no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. Rastafari is Christianity.
All right, well, cool. Well, which one of these topics you want to talk with us about?
No, well, you see, there is two sides to the story, you know.
To what
God,
story?
the story where you, the content where you put up. You say God cruel. You say God unjust. You say there's those things, right? Are you saying it,
Yeah.
you know? But you're not talking about your devil. What about the spirit of the devil? You're talking
The
about
devil is
God
personally
cruel.
responsible for unaliving like 10 people in the Bible, where God is personally responsible for unaliving like a million.
Yeah, but it's the cruelty where you say God do. The people them disobey God and the devil do it. God don't do it. It's the spirit of the devil do the evil to people. Like slavery,
No, God's doing evil. I'm not talking about the devil. I'm talking
God
about God.
control the good and the devil control the bad. There is two sides to you, you know. Two sides. Yeah.
Well, I'm just talking about God, the bad side of
No, you have to
God.
talk about the scale though. When you go to the courthouse, you see the scale, the balance. A two side to you. God and the devil, wrong and right, good and bad, yes and no, high and low, up and down. You have to see those spirit within you.
I gotcha. So,
You are the Bible, whether you want to accept it or not. We are the living word. So you have to choose.
all right, man. Well, have a good one, buddy. This is really struggling to have some coherent conversations today. I'm not sure I've ever had this many guests in less than an hour and not an actual debate, discussion about anything. But anyway, the algorithm is actually moving really good today, so hopefully we'll keep them coming in here. So if you are a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite and you are capable of having a conversation like an adult, please come up and talk to us. You can debate a low tier middle school dropout atheist. That's me. No shame in my game. God is cruel and unjust. God condones slavery and grape. Jesus fulfills zero prophecy. These are the topics for today. Not really interested in if Jesus is like Buddha. We're not my thing. That's right. Jesus is buff as shit. You gotta be buff to beat the devil, though. You know what I mean? Anyway, what was that? Oh, never mind. All right. Well, we still got plenty of time to hopefully get at least one good debate today. Even though we're talking to a bunch of people, we're not really talking to anybody who's capable of a coherent thought. The one guy from earlier kind of was, but he was stuck on 2 verses of Leviticus and refused to address anything else. So that's the closest we've gotten today to a decent debate here. Closest we've got. Anyway, Christians or Hebrew Israelites, come on up. Come on up and talk to us today. Jesus will be proud of you this way. All right then. Come on in. Let's see. The algorithm's actually moving pretty decent. More than it usually does anyway. So I feel like we will get some more folks in here to talk to. It is October 23rd, 24th, and 25th of this year. October 23rd, 24th, 25th. If you want to grab a ticket for that, you can get them at rocketcityreason.com. It wasn't too bad. We hit a few little trafficy snags, but it wasn't bad. It was just long, man. It was just long. So I was on the road for like 10 hours yesterday. It was long. That's alright though. We chilling now. Oh shit, man. That's gonna be a bunch. Mama Bash is gonna be there. Pinkbeard's gonna be there. It's the Godless Engineer show, but the keynote speaker is Seth Andrews. Forrest Valky's gonna be there. Gutsick Gibbon. Thinker's gonna be there. Like, it's gonna be wild. Volsey, Black Atheist France is gonna be. It's gonna be awesome. There's a bunch of big names there, man. Some big old names for 3 whole days. It's going to be awesome too. That Saturday especially is going to be like action freaking packed, man. A lot of stuff going on. They're even going to do like a live episode of The Line there, like where you can watch and stuff. So that'll be super cool. Super cool. Anyway, Christians or Hebrew Israelites, come on up. We got to get at least one good coherent debate today. How they got a guy that he was probably lying, but he said that one guy said he teaches seminary. So they got an actual teacher in an actual seminary that's going to discard Exodus 21 because of Leviticus 25 and discard all slavery after playing around with the definition of chattel. Because of 2 verses. If you're a seminary teacher, buddy, and you're still listening, they ought to fire your ass because you're horrible. Okay, shit. Anyway, come on up. I'm not so sure, man. Like, I thought seminaries were the other way around. Like, they didn't teach doctrine. They taught like the actual languages and what's in the Bible, and they do have like I think you spend the first little, I don't remember how good. I haven't been to seminary. I don't know going, but it wasn't explained quite that way to me. That's why a lot of people deconvert in a seminary. Sure. Anyway, Christians or Hebrew Israelites, come on up. Got passers-by today. Usually don't have those because I'm usually filming in a closet thingy. True. Anyway, let's see where we're at here. The whole algorithm is moving, so. Christians, Hebrew Israelites. Come on up, man. We can't throw in the towel today until we get at least one good discussion in here. Gotta get at least one good discussion in here, man. All right, well. I guess we'll, maybe we got somebody here. Let's see. So we got David Rowe. All right, let's bring up David. You there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, man. Are you over 18?
Yep.
Cool. Are you one of the Christians or Hebrew Israelites?
I'm a Christian.
Cool, man. So which one of these topics you want to talk with us about today?
I use the word Christian lightly because most people that say that they're Christians don't act like it, but I believe in Jesus and I follow Scripture. But I can kind of touch the first two lightly. Getting ready to go to work, and you didn't have anybody coming up, so I figured I would jump in real quick and give you a couple things to think about and see what you think. So, real quick about, is God cruel? I like to use the example of when you have a computer programmer and he develops a software or a program, and he can create that program to operate however he likes, right? So if you make like World of Warcraft or, Sims or whatever video game you might be familiar with, they set in certain parameters, rules, or code that sets limitations and things that they can do and not do. And so the way that I look at, Scripture is that, one, this is God's creation and he made it and he can do what he wants with it. Just like any computer programmer, when he programs any type of software, it can operate however he tells it to. And so we have to decide on are we the ones that are able to define whether or not if what God does is cruel, because we are operating within the confines of what God has programmed and developed, and he defines what is.
So God programmed us to know what cruel is, right?
Within our own definitions, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just operating in my own definition of cruel.
Okay.
And I think having babies' brains bashed out and having women raped and impaling kids on a hill is pretty cruel to me.
Okay. And so why did he do those things?
It tells you why. It gives a bunch of different reasons. It depends on which part of those you're talking about.
Okay.
Like he makes a proclamation against Babylon, for example, and he did that because he uses Babylon to enslave the Israelites, and then he punishes Babylon for enslaving the Israelites.
And what God did Babylon worship, and how did those people act within that nation?
Well, that's the same as the Israelites, I imagine.
No. So if someone, as a personal question, if someone broke in your house, would you shoot them and protect your family, or kill them if they were trying to kill you?
If they were trying to kill me, yeah.
Okay. And so the surrounding nations, the countries that God commanded Israel to go forth and to conquer or kill or to wipe out, were
to conquer, yeah.
Yeah. And so basically those nations were evil nations that sacrificed children. They did all the rape and the things that you're saying that is bad.
And so did the Israelites.
So they were going in to conquer and to defeat and eliminate a problematic country.
Can you show me a single thing that any nation on the planet was doing that the Israelites weren't also doing in the book?
Well, they're humans, and so I can't do that. No. And I'm not saying,
so they're the same.
I'm not saying,
exactly.
Well, all humans are the same. Now.
But this is the same. You're doing the same thing that all these nations did. Like Ashurbanipal, there's cuneiform inscriptions that were found from Assyria, and Ashurbanipal saying, we wiped out the sinners, the ones who were sinning against Asherah, and we had their pregnant women ripped open and this and that because they were sinning against our god, Ashur. The Israelites were doing the same thing. They're saying all these wicked nations are sinning against our god, Yahweh. They're literally just justifying each other's atrocities.
Yeah,
with their gods.
I can see that.
Like, that's just what they're all doing here.
I mean, then you have to decide on whether or not if you believe that, which God is the true God, right? Which one is the actual, the OG or the original, or however you want to look at it. Does that make sense?
Well, sure, but I mean, that doesn't get you past this God isn't cruel or unjust, though.
Well, how do you define cruel and unjust? If someone kicks it, you just said that if somebody kicked in your front door, you would shoot and kill them. And so does that make you cruel and unjust?
Well, that's self-defense.
Okay.
If you just go to somebody else's houses and shoot them, that's not just, is it?
No. Nope.
Oh, okay.
And so
Would
now,
you consider it just to punish the innocent for the crimes of the guilty?
well, who's innocent? Are you innocent?
Well, these babies are definitely innocent.
Well, what would they become? So when you got a nation, right, that
They
is,
become adults like every other baby that's born.
yep, raised under what traditions and what national beliefs, and what are they designed to do?
I don't know the rest of the world, unless you're going to argue that people that don't serve Yahweh are sinners that deserve to die, then you don't have much of a case here, I don't think.
Well, depends how you look at it. So think about this. Do you know how a cancer cell works in the human body?
Vaguely.
Okay, so a cancer cell, real short, is a healthy cell that malfunctions, and then it begins to replicate at an excessive rate, and it can't stop replicating. Okay, and so what happens is you get tumors, and it starts to consume parts of the body, and then what do? You go to a doctor, and you pay a doctor to have that healthy cell that is part of your body. It is a normal cell that is in your body. It's not invasive. It's not alien. It's not like from outside of your body. It is something that is inside your body that is malfunctioning, not operating the way that it should be operating. And so you go and you spend your money and you pay a doctor to have genocide on your own human cells and have them cut out and removed, and because they're malfunctioning. And so God is basically doing the same thing when he's going into these other nations. He's removing the cancer from inside of his creation and removing the malfunctioning cells.
So that's what different people are. They're cancer.
Malfunctioning cells. So when you look at Deuteronomy, it says that
I got you.
God
Christians, all the nations around, if you're not a Christian, you're a cancer who deserves to die.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not Christianity. I'm talking about the Old Testament.
That's exactly what it sounds like you're saying.
I'm talking about the
I'm
Old.
just letting you know. I'm not.
No, I know. Well, I'm saying that in the Old Testament, during the time of all the way from creation to that when Jesus showed up on the scene, okay, the Deuteronomy, it states that I think it's in 32. It states that God takes Abraham as his own people, and then he hands over the other nations to lesser beings, or the other angelic beings. All right, some are fallen, some are not, and so those nations worship those angelic beings as their gods, and so those people choose to act and operate within the confines of what their gods told them to do. And so they were in rebellion.
So obviously the baby's brains has to be bashed out for this, right?
I mean, that's not my wishes for it. I'm just telling you what the history says.
Well, that's what's happening here.
Yeah, okay. So I'm sure that did happen.
So, I mean, unless you're going to argue that these babies were guilty of something and deserve to have their brains bashed out, then this just looks pretty bad.
Yeah, so do you live in America?
Yeah.
Okay. And so because you're an American, then you support all the times that we have had slaves, then we own blacks and we had slaves here in America.
I don't support that. I think that's evil.
But you're an American, and so you follow the American Constitution, and you follow the fact that we own slaves and that we abuse people then. That's what you're doing with the Bible.
I acknowledge the fact that we own that slavery was permitted, yeah, and it was permitted because of the Bible.
Well, not because of the Bible, because of human nature. People wanted to get work for free.
No, it's in the Bible. It's okay in the Bible. The Bible condones it.
But that's not why we had slaves in America. We had slaves in America because it was free labor.
Yes, it is.
No, we did not.
Yeah, but it was permitted because of the Bible. They used the Bible to justify it. It was a bunch of Christians.
Yeah, so they twisted it. Because
they didn't twist it. It says you can own slaves in the Bible. They were being biblical.
In the Old Testament, so if you want to go through slavery, all right.
Oh, you take up, buddy. I don't know if you knew it or not. But we can't hear you if you didn't know you're not, or didn't know you're take up.
You can't hear me?
I can now, but okay. You were cut out there for a minute.
Yeah, it's probably my phone, man. So Exodus 21. is the servitude of indentured servants.
Yep, you take up again. I caught the indentured servants from Exodus 21 part.
Yeah, Exodus 21 is indentured servants of the Hebrew people, actual slavery of people from surrounding nations.
That part's
And so the entire world was doing
Leviticus.
this. And 25, I think, right? Yes, Leviticus 25. Still there?
Yeah. Yeah, in Exodus 21, it's saying if you buy a male Hebrew slave, you have to let him go unless you give him a family and he wants to stay with his family. Then he has to serve you for life. Then it goes into what you do with a female Hebrew slave, and it's not the same. It says when a man sells his daughter as a slave, she shall not go out as the male slaves do. So it's differentiating between a male and a female Hebrew slave.
Right.
In Exodus 21.
Yeah.
But it straight up says it. It says you can sell your daughter as a slave.
Yeah, in servitude, because it's either starve to death and you all die, or you sell her into servitude and she can actually, work, and then you can pay that debt off. It's the same thing as selling like land or anything else. Yep.
She can. You think you sell your daughter as a slave and it's like giving her a job?
No, it's not like that. It's a lot worse than that. You know what I mean? But it's still
she can work. Yeah, it is a lot worse than that.
Well, so what do you think was done with that person?
Slaves don't get paid, man. They work, but they don't get paid. It's not like you're giving them a job. Well, you're giving them a job, but they ain't getting paid for it.
If you sell something, if you sell your car, and you're going to probably take it the wrong way here, but like if you sell your car, you get paid for it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So if you sell a person, you got paid for it. I'm not saying that it's right. Yeah. I don't believe in slavery, but I don't believe that we should have slaves.
Well, then you disagree with God then?
Well, no. God was saying that the people of this world will have slaves. And if you're going to own a slave, you are to treat them properly. If you're going to have one from your own nation, you are to release them after their time is up. It does say that, brother.
Nope.
Okay. All right. I'll let you read it and tell me where I'm wrong, because I could be wrong.
Well, it depends. If you read Leviticus 25, it says, if any who are dependent on you become so impoverished that they sell themselves to you, you shall not make them serve as slave. So God is clearly capable of forbidding slavery when he don't like it. The problem is, Exodus contradicts that.
Said you should not sell them as a slave?
If it's a Hebrew.
Right.
A male
so
Hebrew.
Somebody of your own.
The females are fine. You can sell female Hebrews. You just can't sell a male Hebrew slave. And that part's in Leviticus 25, and then it goes on in 44, but it says, as for the male and female slaves whom you may have. So it's saying you can have them, you just can't take a male Hebrew slave. But in Exodus 21, it don't say nothing like that. It says you can buy a male Hebrew slave. And it says, if you give him a wife and a child, when it comes to his time to go out, you don't have to release his wife and child. So if he wants to stay with his family, he has to commit to you for life. So basically, if you give him a family and he wants to stay with them, he has to commit to being your slave for life instead of going out after 6 years.
Okay.
But the Bible never,
do you think
the Bible never forbids slavery one time? Nowhere, not even Jesus.
Yeah, well, yes and no. So there are times, like I can't remember his name, but in the New Testament, when Paul sends the slave that escaped his master, he sends it back to his owner and says, look, I know that he left you and I know that you owned him, but I hope he accepted Jesus. He's a convert, into Christianity. And I hope that you accept him as a brother rather than property. And so in the New Testament, it does show that, if you're going to do it, then you should do it properly and you should do it within respect and actually loving people. Now, as far as like the Old Testament goes, there was a fine line, or like a hard line, I'm sorry, big difference between owning a Hebrew slave versus owning an actual non-Hebrew slave, somebody from another nation. Now, with the women,
Right.
I'd have to study the women a little bit more to be able to speak on it, but I'm pretty sure that the ideology of it was that you weren't allowed to do anything with them, and if you did, you had to marry them.
No, you could definitely do whatever you wanted with them.
Well, I don't believe that. I don't think. I'd have to look at the actual notes
Why
on
not? Moses
Where does it
takes
say that-
child
where does
sex
it-
slaves in Numbers 31.
it. Where does it say that?
Which part?
You said that Moses took child sex slaves.
Yeah, that's in Numbers 31. Let me, Numbers 31. Here, I'll show you. All right, and Moses said to them, "Have you allowed all the women to live?" These women here, on Balaam's advice, made the Israelites act treacherously against the Lord in the affair of Peor, so that the plague came among the congregation of the Lord. Now, therefore, unalive every male among the little ones, and unalive every woman who has known a man by sleeping with him. But all of the young girls who have not known a man by sleeping with him, keep alive for yourselves.
Yeah, so what does it say about sex there? About keeping them alive?
Dude, they're taking children, virgins, as slaves for themselves. What do you think they're doing with them?
They're eliminating people of the bloodline that were worshiping a false god, that were massacring and killing people and sacrificing children. And then so what you do is you take the women that have never been impregnated, they can't be pregnant because they're still a virgin, and then everybody else you kill, because if they have children and they grow up to come back to conquer you again and raise up another army and raise up the same
can't have
ideology.
that. Obviously, you got to kill all the kids. Yeah, obviously.
Well, back then, yeah.
Oh, back
They
then,
did.
yeah. Well, it's funny that
So-
God was such a piece of crap back then.
Do you support abortion?
Up to a certain point.
Well, what point? What point do you support murdering children?
The point of sentience.
Okay, define it.
Sentience is when it's like a thinking being. Like up until a certain point, there's no brain activity. They're not in there thinking. They don't have a nervous system that they can feel pain with. It's just cells, basically.
You there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I froze. I think you froze or I froze, one of the two. So you support murdering children as long as it's in the womb of a woman.
Nope, I don't support murdering children. It's not a child up until a certain point, and we know this. It's scientifically verified facts about
So what
development.
is it? Is it a
So
potato? What is it?
So don't call it murdering children. Your God murders children. Not
It actually is a
I've
child.
never-
And if you support abortion, you're murdering children. You're changing
It's
the
not a
definition.
child. That's why I'm saying you can't. There's up until a certain point. There's no brain activity. There's no nervous system.
That's
it's a
not true.
developing body. But yes, it is true. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Have you even looked into this?
Yeah, I have. And so it's proven fact that like with
so
certain
when does
foods
when does a brain fully function in a fetus?
fully function. We're not talking about fully functioning. When does it start
Yeah,
to
when is
function?
it a functioning brain in a fetus?
When does it start to function?
It starts to form after 8 to 10 weeks.
Okay. And when is there a heartbeat?
A heartbeat around 21 to 24 weeks, somewhere in there.
No. The heartbeat is much earlier than that.
Yeah, you can have a beating heart, but that don't mean you have a brain that's actually functioning or a nervous system that feels pain. Like y'all like to imagine there's like a little baby in there going, "Oh no, don't get me. But it's just not the case. That's not
I
how
have
it
to
works.
verify this, but the heartbeat, I believe, I think it's like 14 days or something like that, is when you can actually sense a heartbeat when the doctors can.
Anyway, if you
And
think
so,
this is evil and it's murdering children, then you ought to be really, really, really mad at this God, because it has no problem bashing born babies' brains out. So, I mean, if you think abortion is murdering children, then you ought to have a serious, serious problem with this God in this book here, because it bashes babies' brains out on the regular. Does the deed himself sometime.
well, it's not God, it's humans. Humans
It
are the
is
ones that are
God.
doing it. So, okay, so how many people,
Nope.
how
It's
many
literally
babies
God
did,
making,
how many
literally God
babies,
making it happen.
how many babies did God come down to earth and smash their heads with? Like, how many did he do? Or is that in
He
scripture?
commanded all this to happen with his powers. He didn't have to use his hand to do it. He takes responsibility for it. And in some cases, he does come down and strike the child himself. Yeah. Do you know what God did to David and Bathsheba's infant child?
And then how was the baby conceived?
What does it matter? So, are you pro-abortion as long as the baby came about through like adultery or something?
No. Nope. I'm against abortion.
Okay.
I'm not, I don't support any of the abortion
Okay,
or
well, if you're
any
against
form of it.
abortion, if you think that is murdering a baby, then you should have some serious, serious problems with this God. Because David commits adultery with Bathsheba. God don't like this. And God straight up tells David, he says, I'm going to put away your sin and you shall not die. But because you have scorned the Lord, this child, he makes it sick for a week and then kills it. So he
Yep,
makes a
that
baby,
does
an
happen.
innocent baby, suffer and then die himself personally.
Do you think that there's suffering in this world?
Yeah.
Okay. And so do you believe that there's evil in this world?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you had a very cushy life, or have you had a hard life?
It's been all right. Anyway, can you address what I said about this baby?
I I'm getting to it. So do you believe that there's people in this world that would probably wish that they were never born?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I know people sometimes feel that way and act on that or think that way, and some people even kill themselves. And so then where do you define, or how do you draw the line on the aspect of a child's life being taken versus a child's life being spared from the iniquities and the pain and suffering and the torment and torturing of this world?
What do you mean, where do I draw the line? To me, it's never okay to unalive babies.
You just said it was. You agree with
No, I
abortion
said
up
I'm
to a
okay
certain
with it
point.
up till a certain point. Like, I'll tolerate it. Like,
Yeah, so
it's
you'll
bodily
tolerate murdering
autonomy, man.
babies.
Like, yeah, humans don't have a right to use another human's body to survive.
Well, they do for 9 months.
No, they don't. They do in some states. If the states make that some kind of law where they'll straight up kill you if you do it, they're so pro-life they'll kill you if you have an abortion. It's pretty sad.
Well, I mean, so if
But
someone
anyway,
kicks in your
what
door,
about David and Bathsheba's infant child? The Lord made this baby suffer for a week and then die.
was it suffering for a week, or did it just die? Or does it say that the baby
It says
suffered?
the Lord struck the child, and it says that the Lord struck the child whom Uriah's wife bore to David, and it became very ill. So I'm assuming that being very ill is not a pleasant experience.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
Well, I mean, you said up to a certain point you can kill him.
Well, this baby
Right.
had been born. This baby was alive.
Okay, so a born baby, do you
I'm
think
talking
that
about
it's,
like in the first. I'm talking about like in the first 16 weeks is what I'm talking about. 12 to 16
yeah,
weeks.
okay. I'm talking about after birth, right? 12 to 16 weeks after
Yeah,
birth.
this baby was born. Yeah, this baby was alive at the time.
Are those babies still dependent on the mother to nurse from her breast?
Yeah, most babies are.
Okay, so you're saying that because that baby needs to nurse from the mother, it should not be dependent on another human to live, and so it's not a human yet, and so you're still okay with murdering that, is what you said earlier. You said no human should ever have to depend on another human's body to survive. And so if that baby has to nurse on that mother to survive,
No, I'm saying legally
kill
you
that
don't
baby.
have a right to survive based on somebody else's body is what I'm saying.
We're not talking about legal. We're talking about what is ethical, not legal, not like in a country confines of what a country can define.
Right, and I'm saying you don't have the right to use somebody else's body to survive. Yeah.
So you're saying a baby who has to nurse from a mother's boob doesn't have the right to do that, is what you're saying. And so you can kill that baby by letting it starve. Right.
I
So
didn't
you're
say
saying it's
you
okay
can
to
kill it. I'm saying in America,
What
you
happens
can
if you don't let
sign
it
your
eat?
name on a piece of paper and relinquish all rights to that baby, and the state will take it over.
I'm talking about if you don't let the baby nurse from the mother. Back then, there was no formula. And so if you weren't going to let the baby nurse from the mother, it would starve to death. And you're okay with that. Because it doesn't have the
I
right
didn't say I was okay with that.
You said
Now
it
you're
doesn't
just
have the
trying to
right.
twist everything and trying to make
No.
it sound like it's
No.
great or something.
No,
So
I'm
if
saying that
murdering a baby is always evil, why was it not evil when this guy did it to David and Bathsheba's baby?
I'm saying for a human to go take another life of another human, no matter what it is, no matter what the age is, I do believe that that is evil. Now, whether or not if you
Okay,
accept
so what
what
about
God
when God
commands
does
it,
it constantly?
God created everything. It's his program. Who are you to say what you
It's
can do
still
with
evil,
what
though,
his
isn't
stuff?
it?
It's his. No, it's not. It's
He's
his
making
stuff.
a baby sick for a week and killing it. And the very next baby that David has with the same woman, God blesses that one. He makes it a rich king and gives it all kind of wives.
Yep, and it's his things. But let's clarify one thing real quick, though. You said a human doesn't have the right ethically to depend on another human's body to survive. And so with you saying that, you agree that you said that, right? Now, with you saying
And
that,
I'm talking about pregnancy.
And that is your stance. Well, no, that's not what you said. You said that you had to depend on the other
Yes,
human's
it
life
is.
to survive. And so now, when a baby has to nurse off of a mother
Referring to
eat,
pregnancy, yes.
now you're changing it. I got you backed into
No,
a
I'm not
corner and you're going to
changing
change it.
No,
You are
no, you
changing
don't.
it.
You're trying to shift it around and trying to make it about something else when I never meant it.
Does a baby
You're
have
just trying
to
to
eat?
add that in there now because you know your own argument
Does.
about your God is falling apart. So now you're trying to make
No.
it about me instead
Mine's
of
not
addressing
falling
your
apart.
God doing it here. Like yeah, I'm a mean old heathen who's advocating for abortion here, and you're advocating for your God who straight up murders alive babies by having their brains bashed out and making them sick for a week before they die.
And so do you.
When have I ever done that?
By supporting abortion.
So by supporting abortion, you equate that to me having babies' brains bashed out who are alive.
Well, yeah, because they go in with scissors and forks, and they go in with the grapes or grapples or whatever they call
And
them.
that's
I'm not a
bashing
doctor.
their brains out, an alive baby.
Yes, they actually grab their head and then they cut their head off, and then they pull it out of the mother's
Okay,
womb,
so
and then they
how
cut
come
the arms
I'm evil
off.
for doing
and
it,
they
but
pull
not
them
your
out.
God? Okay,
You didn't
so
create.
how come
You didn't
I'm
create
evil
this.
for doing it, but not your God?
You didn't create this world. It's not yours to do what you want with.
So what makes it not evil when God does it?
It's his creation.
Oh, okay. So God can create all the babies he wants and bash their brains out, and it's just God being God because he owns the babies.
He made everything. It's not mine to say what he can do with it.
So God can murder all he wants arbitrarily, and it's not evil. Gotcha. Great argument.
Where did all this originally come from?
That's a different question. If you think it came from God, that's one thing. But either way, you're justifying atrocity by just saying it's God. He can do whatever he wants.
I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that I can't control it.
Okay, then God is unjust. Thanks.
No, I don't agree with that.
Okay, so how is it justified that he murdered these babies then? Can you justify it?
Well, the ones of the other nations that would rise up and become child sacrificers and people that would rape and kill and pillage and things like that.
The Israelites did this too. God told them to sacrifice babies to him. God wasn't mad that they were sacrificing babies. He was mad they were sacrificing babies to other gods, not to him.
God never had Israelites sacrifice children to him.
He absolutely did.
No, he didn't.
It's in Exodus 22 and Ezekiel 20. Yep. Here, I'll read it to you. Exodus 22, verse 29. You shall not delay to make offerings from the fullness of your harvest and from the outflow of your presses. The firstborn of your sons you shall give to me. You shall do the same with your oxen and with your sheep. It shall remain with its mother for 7 days, and on the 8th day you shall give it to me. And then in Ezekiel 20, he's acknowledging that God said this, but Ezekiel is saying that God did it because he was mad at him.
Next time.
Thanks, go. Love you, bye.
Next time, door 2.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Sorry, I'm dropping my kid off. Go. All right, so where does it say that they're sacrificed or killed? You think the word give?
Exodus 29, it says, the firstborn of your sons you shall give to me. You shall do the same with your oxen and with your sheep. 7 days it shall remain with its mother, and on the 8th day you shall give it to me. Not to mention, it says, if your child curses father or mother, they shall be put to death. Like, so, according to God, you're supposed to unalive disobedient children too.
All right, so that verse is specifically about the Levite. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so that verse is specifically about the Levites and about them giving them as a priest to God, and so they're basically going to be.
Do you give oxen and sheep as priests too?
As the oxen and sheep are the sacrifices.
No, this says the firstborn of your sons you shall give to me, and you shall do the same with oxen and sheep. So if giving your son just means you're making them a priest, then you are also doing the same with an ox and a sheep, which means you're making ox and sheep priests.
No, because it defines on what the sheep and the oxen are for, and he defines what the people are for. The firstborn of the men
listen
or
real
the
close.
children.
I'll read it again. It says, the firstborn of your sons you shall give to me. You shall do the same with your oxen and with your sheep. It's saying to do the same thing with an ox and a sheep as your firstborn son.
So if I come over and I bring you $100, and then I bring you a dog, and I give them to you, and you're gonna go try to spend the dog like you do the money? I mean, come on.
Does it say in the book here to do the same with the dog as it does the money?
It doesn't say to do the same. It says to give them both to him.
It literally does. It says, the firstborn of your sons you shall give to me. You shall do the same with your oxen and with your sheep. It literally says do the same thing.
Yes, give
like
to him.
It's 2 short sentences. It's not even complicated.
It is give to him. And so you're taking 2 short sentences out of the entire first 5 books of the Bible. They
pass through the fire.
No, they don't. It doesn't say that.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Okay, in those 2 sentences, where does it say pass through the fire?
It don't in those 2 sentences.
All right, so we got that resolved. They don't go through the fire.
Oh, boy. So if it don't say it in these 2 sentences and it says it in the 3rd one, that means it didn't happen in your mind.
Where does it say it in the 3rd one?
That's in Ezekiel.
So it's not the 3rd sentence. It's in another book.
Yeah, it's in a different book talking about the same thing. Yeah.
In a different book, actually, it's in the same book. What does it say? That
I know. Since y'all have to have it like spoon fed to you because you're so in denial about what's actually happening. The Levites.
What are the Levites for? What are the people of the Levites for? What was the tribe for?
What do you mean? What was the tribe for?
What was the Levites for? The whole tribe. What was the purpose of that tribe? They were all the priests. They were to be the priests to represent the people to God. And so when you give your children over to God, they were to be priests.
So that also means that oxen and sheep were also priests because it says to do the same thing.
It does not. It says the same thing that you're doing.
It says, the firstborn of your sons you shall give to me. You shall do the same with your oxen and your sheep. Literally says, do the same. Like in the very next part. We can read it as many times as you need to. Don't say
And
nothing about priests.
what
Don't
is
say
the
nothing
action?
about none of that.
What is he doing? Giving to them, right?
Offering, you shall give it to me.
Yes, give it to them. Nothing about killing, nothing about
No, to
sacrifice,
Yahweh.
nothing
It
about a
says, you
fire.
shall give it to me. It's got the firstborn of your sons, you shall give to me. You shall do the same with your oxen and with your sheep. 7 days it shall remain with its mother, and on the 8th day you shall give it to me.
Okay, so look at it this way. How do Christians give money to God? How do they tithe? Do they burn it or do they give it
They don't give
to other
money to
people
God. You
who
give
need
it to
it?
your preacher.
Okay, so they give the money to the preacher. They don't burn it, right?
Okay.
Do they burn the money or do they give it to their preacher?
No, they don't burn money.
Okay, and so when people say give your tithe to God, then you already can show that they're not burning the money, and so they're not sacrificing the money on an altar. They're giving it to God. The way that they give it to God is by
Okay, so
giving
you
it to the
don't.
priest.
So you're saying you don't burn sacrifices. You don't burn sheep and oxen or doves as offerings. Is that what you're saying?
Christians do not. No. Now, in the Old Testament, they did. Now, and they weren't Christians
Okay,
then; they were
so
Jews.
this is in the Old Testament. You realize I'm reading this from the Old Testament, right?
Right, and that they did do sacrifices in the Old Testament.
Okay,
They were an
so when it says, the
atonement
firstborns
for
of your
sin.
son you shall give to me, you shall do the same with your oxen and with your sheep. Where is it talking anything about being priests here in Exodus?
Because it's all about the Levites.
Where does it say that in Exodus? I'm reading from the book of Exodus. Where does it say this pertains to the Levites and this is about being a priest and not about an offering? You're going to have to differentiate, man.
When you go back and read the whole Exodus 29, it's about Aaron and his sons as the priest, and then the commandments God has given them.
Where does it say that? Show us where it says that. Ooh, he's struggling with Exodus hard. I haven't even got to Ezekiel yet. It's got more than 2 sentences.
I don't have the exact verse. It's 28 and 29 in Exodus when Levite and his sons are singled out to be the priest.
Where does it say this is talking about Levites?
It's Aaron and his sons.
Where does it say that? This is just giving a bunch of social and religious laws here. It doesn't say this only pertains to Levites. It doesn't say none of that. You're adding all that in there. Like, just for example, like in verse 19, it says, whoever has intercourse with an animal shall be put to death. It doesn't say if a Levite has intercourse with an animal, he shall be put to death. It's talking to everybody here. This isn't specific to Levites. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I feel like I haven't looked at the screen in a while.
All right. Exodus 29:1 calls out Aaron and his sons, and it names the sons.
Wait, what?
Hang on, man.
I didn't hear you. You said verse 29.
Exodus 28:1 is Aaron and his sons.
So we're going to another chapter now.
Exodus 28:1. So you got to remember. So first off, these aren't chapters. So in the English Bible, it's broken out in chapters.
Not chapters.
And nope. In the Hebrewic language, there is no chapters and there are no books. It is all concise. It is a scroll.
28 is talking about something completely different.
Twenty 28:1 says to bring Aaron and his sons. Right?
Okay. So where does it say? What about Exodus chapter 22?
When you read through it, when you get to 28:41, it gives the commandments of what they're supposed to do with Aaron and his sons. That's when they're commissioned as the priests for God.
Okay, what about in Exodus 22? Where does it say that's referring to Aaron and him?
Okay, you said 22.
Yeah, from Exodus 22.
Okay, all right, real quick. And
You take up that again.
all right, yeah, it keeps breaking up. Sorry, I'm trying to look at the Bible app scriptures and go through this like on my phone. Every time I change screens, it mutes me or turns me off. All right, so Exodus for 22, it's 13. It says that all the firstborn are redeemed because God brought them out of Egypt. And then Exodus 34:20 also says that the firstborn are redeemed.
I agree, it does say redeemed there. It doesn't say redeemed in Exodus 22, though.
Right, but it says that they're all his and that they belong to him.
Yeah.
Right, and so you can't be redeemed if you're burned in a fire.
Yeah, I know. That's why I know that it's not talking about redeeming, because you don't also redeem ox and sheep.
That's not what it's saying, man. It's saying that all those things are his, that they're to be given to him. It does not say that they're to be burned, though.
Let's go ahead and address Ezekiel now too, because he's explaining this in a little more detail. So in Ezekiel, he's addressing Exodus 22, and he says, moreover, this is God talking here. Says, moreover, I gave them statutes that were not good, and ordinances by which they could not live. I defiled them through their very gifts, and their offering up of all their firstborn, in order that I might horrify them, so that they might know that I am the Lord. And then, if you skip on down a little bit, Therefore, said the house of Israel, you defile yourselves through the manner of your ancestors and go astray after their detestable things when you offer your gifts and make your children pass through the fire.
Yeah, give me the verse.
This is in Ezekiel 20.
Is it just all of 20, or where you at?
25 and 26, and then that one, the last one I read there was verse 30. Verse 30 and 31, I mean. So Exodus 22 is saying you have to offer up your firstborn, the same as the ox and the sheep. And in Ezekiel 20 here, he's coming along and he's acknowledging that God did that. But he, in Ezekiel, is saying that God did it because he was mad at them. This is like, according to Ezekiel, he's being like the sarcastic, vindictive God here. That's why it says, moreover, I gave them statutes that were not good and ordinances by which they could not live. I defiled them through their very gifts and their offering up of all their firstborn in order that I might horrify them. So I don't think you can make the case. This is talking about offering your kid as a priest when God is saying he did it to defile and horrify you.
Ezekiel 26 is about the nation of Tyre, Tyre.
Yeah,
and then
Ezekiel 20. I'm in 20.
Oh, 20. All right, hold on a second. Can you read the Ezekiel 20 verse that you're wanting to discuss?
Yeah, in 25 it says, moreover, I gave them statutes that were not good and ordinances by which they could not live. I defiled them through their very gifts and their offering up of all their firstborn in order that I might horrify them, so they might know that I am the Lord. Then if you read 30, it says, therefore say to the house of Israel, thus says the Lord God, will you defile yourselves after the manner of your ancestors and go astray after their detestable things when you offer your gifts and make your children pass through the fire? You defile yourselves with all your idols to this day.
Yeah, so he said that they were doing evil things that he did not command. He says that when you were passing your children through the fire.
Nope, you've already got it wrong. It says, moreover, I gave them statutes that were not good and ordinances by which they could not live. I defiled them through their very gifts and their offering of their firstborn in order that I might horrify them. God is making them do this.
So this one I'd have to go through and read and look at it. But I see where your concern is, and I see why you think this. But this chapter right here I haven't gone into, and I'd have to actually look at it. So I don't want to like make any kind of falsehoods or whatever. And I'm driving, so I can't do it.
No, I mean that's well, you can't drive and live, man. But I appreciate you coming up here, but you said you was driving, so I had to drop you. But anyway, we got a couple people in the queue here. Let's see. Oh, that's Jerry and Mac. Shit. Let's see where I'm at here. Almost 2 hours. Crap. I should have sent that earlier. Mac's really good at talking about that one too. Alright, before I go though, I'm on vacation out here, so I'm going to have to cut it out in a minute, but let's bring up Cavohim and then we'll bust in with the Jerry if you guys agree. Hey, Cavohim, you there?
Hello, sir.
Hey, how you doing, man? Are you over 18?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Are you one of the Christians or Hebrew Israelites?
I'm a Christian. I identify as a follower of Jesus Christ.
Cool, man. So which one of these topics you want to talk with us about?
Let's talk about God is cruel and unjust.
Okay. So do you disagree with that?
I do.
You don't think God's cruel?
No, sir.
Okay, so in Isaiah 13, when he makes the proclamation against Babylon, it says in verse 9, it says, "See, the day of the Lord is coming, cruel, with wrath and fierce anger, to make a desolation of the earth and destroy its sinners from it."
That is true, but it does not define his character. It defines that act he's going to do to them. So,
Well, I mean,
yes,
if you're doing cruel things, that makes you cruel, right?
it depends, but not his actual nature. His general way of being is not cruel because you are alive right now.
Well, if he's capable of committing cruelty, then his nature is cruel.
Is your being alive cruel?
No.
Right. So he's not. His character is not cruel, though he does impose
Yeah, but his
judgment.
character does do cruel things, right?
Yes, depending on what the nature of the judgment is. That is correct.
All right. So he is capable of being cruel. He does
Yes.
cruel things.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
On account of judgment.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't just do it. It's because of something.
Sure, but he's still being cruel, though.
Yeah. He very clearly says that he's the one who creates the light and forms the darkness. Right. Creating evil and causing calamity. He does all these things. So his sovereignty, it goes above just good or evil. He's the governing power of both.
Oh. Well, I mean, if he created them both, then yeah, he's good and evil.
It's not that he's good and evil. It's knowledge of evil. It's the same reason that you and I are able to have free will and go do good or evil ourselves.
At least until you get judged with cruelty, right?
Well, the idea is to obey him, and then those things will never happen to us. But it is the sovereignty of God and his divine rule that, yes, at times he will impose judgment.
So if you use your free will wrong, then you're getting judged for it, right?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. So he gives you free will, but you can't use it wrong. That makes perfect sense.
Well, yes, the same way you're free right now and you're not incarcerated, you're not being under arrest because you're being in compliance, is a shadow of the same thing that exists up above. There's rules to society that, if broken, will require a judgment.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's my rules that I have the concern, or God's rules that I have a concern with here. But anyway, you wouldn't say it's not just to punish innocent people for the crimes of the guilty, is it?
Be more specific.
If you're innocent of a crime, you shouldn't be punished for whatever the crime is, right? If you didn't do it.
It depends, because God has said he visits the sins of the fathers on the sons to the third and fourth generations of those who hate him.
Yeah, it also says the son shall not be punished for the sins of the father, nor the father for the sins of the son.
That is correct, but that is not pertaining to actual generational curse. That's pertaining to actual act. Meaning, if one man commits a crime, another is not going to be punished for it instantly. Do you understand? It's not the same.
Oh, okay. So, in a generational punishment, is the son being punished for the sins of the father?
He can be. God doesn't say he always does it.
So when it says a son shall not be punished for the sins of the father, what does that mean?
That means the father might do something against another person, and by the law says he is to be stoned. And so then you're not going to stone also the son as well.
So should you punish your son for the sins of the father generationally or not, based on that?
So that's something that God says he does. For example, Do you have children?
Yeah.
Should God bless your children for you hating him? That's the nature of how he visits the sins of the fathers on the sons. Your hatred for him might cause your sons to suffer as a punishment to you.
Okay. So you do think it's considered just to punish innocent people for what guilty people did?
I do not disagree with God's ways. Why should he bless your seed if you are hating him?
Okay, well, do you have an actual standard of justice we could use to...
My standard of justice is to obey the law of the land.
Okay, well, the law says you can own slaves and to unalive people that entice you to other God. Do you agree with both of those laws?
At the time, yes. The law right now does not say that. But at the time, yes, the nature of slavery was pertaining to warfare and also servitude, debt slavery, meaning it was for debt. You would do a service for pay or wages or to pay off a debt.
Right, so God was good for allowing slavery then, right?
Correct. Did Moses not say the curses that would come on people for disobedience? Moses said all of these things first before that happened.
Yeah.
Right. He warned them first, and he said, "This is what's going to happen to you if you do not obey."
Yeah, if you like say slavery's bad, this is what's going to happen to you.
None of it was random. It was all laid out for them perfectly beforehand.
Okay. So you're fine with slavery. Let's see.
According to the times, yes, and also according to what God's word is, and also God's will. If God says he's going to lock you up.
Owning slaves are good, that's good, right?
Right. So if God says, I'm going to enslave you if you worship idols, I'm going to enslave you if you don't do what I say and sin against me, and then you go and worship idols and sin against him and enslaves you, and then your descendants 5,000 years later say, oh, your God was wrong because he liked slavery. It's out of context. It's not putting it in correct
context. It's not out of context. He allowed it, and God is timeless, so God's not even supposed to change.
But you're understanding
God
that...
God doesn't think... You can't say God thought slavery was good then, but not now. It doesn't work like that.
So it's no different because you're still under the law if you die without Christ, or unalived if you go without Christ. That's what the Bible says.
Yeah, so according to God, it's still just fine for me to own a slave.
It's still binding if you're not in Christ. Because by those rules that he set in place through the law, those are the rules that condemn a man.
So the law's good unless you accept Jesus, and then it's bad.
That is correct.
Then you've gotten out of it.
You've gotten out of it. That's the fulfillment of the law is Jesus. You've escaped.
So God's laws are bad unless Jesus.
God's laws are meant to condemn the wicked.
Are they good or bad?
They're good. But okay. if the soul is
so why don't you want to keep these good laws?
So I've accepted Jesus Christ, so they're no longer being bad to me.
Yeah, but they're no longer putting me to death. Though.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do them, though, right? You should still try to keep the law.
So Jesus explained that through him, we will keep the law if we love God with all our mind, all our heart, and all our soul. And we also love our neighbor and ourselves. We will fulfill all of the law if we do those two things.
So if you own a slave right now, is that a sin?
If I own a slave right now, it is a sin because the law of the land does not permit it.
Okay, so where does God forbid this and say if you own a slave now, it's a sin?
There's people in different areas of the world where their laws allow slavery. So the scriptures say to obey the law of the land. So therefore, if I go to a land where slavery is allowed...
No, this says to obey God's laws. Jesus gets pissed because people are keeping their own laws and not the law of God. This doesn't say keep the law of the land wherever you are. It says keep the law of God.
Romans 13. Sir, does say to keep the law of the land, sir. It says that's what God's commandment is.
No, that says God. That's God's authority implementing the governing bodies here, and it says if you rebel against your government, you're rebelling against God.
Right, so that means we're supposed to obey the law of the land, sir. So if slavery is allowed somewhere overseas, that's what I agree with. I agree with what the law of the land is.
So you agree with slavery if it's allowed by law, and if you don't, you don't. If it's not, you don't.
I agree with the law, sir.
Which law?
Whatever the law of the land is, I'm dwelling.
So just whatever a law is, you agree with it.
That's God's commandment. If the law, if let's say in America is this and the law is something different in Australia or Africa, I obey the law where I go.
So if it was a law here that says you could just rape whoever you wanted to, then you're fine with it.
Show me in the scriptures where God says it's okay to rape.
He commands rape a bunch of times, but I'm asking you, if it was a law that said rape was okay for whatever reason, you would be fine.
God's
with that.
never commanded rape. Right? Show me the scripture, sir.
You. That's not what I'm at. Well, he does that, but I'm asking you, if
there was a law
saying that was a just punishment for something, you would agree with. You would have to agree with it based on your own logic here, right?
If you can show me where God has commanded to rape, then I will say I would agree.
Okay. Well, in Isaiah chapter 13, in the proclamation against Babylon, he literally commands his his consecrated ones, his proudly exalting ones, to dash their infants to pieces before their eyes. Their houses will be plundered, and their wives will be raped.
Do you know what that judgment was about? The Babylonians doing those things to them.
No, this is the Medes doing it to Babylon on God's orders. God literally says, I am stirring up the Medes against them.
Right. So the nature of that judgment was those people imposing judgment on them on account of God. So that one group of people did those things to those people in judgment. But that was judgment. That was not a law command, the way you presented it.
Hold on, let me read it. I'll read it one more time. In verse 3, it says, I myself have commanded my consecrated ones. I have summoned my warriors, my proudly exalting ones, to execute my anger. So God is literally commanding them to do this.
I don't deny what you're saying, but I'm saying it was not a part of the law the way that you asked me. If it was the law to do this, to rape women, then would I say yes? So it's not accurate. It's not lining up. That's a judgment. That's not the law.
Them to go and rape other people, though.
I agree that God does judge people, but that is not his general law, the way that you presented it.
Yeah, but it's a command.
On those people, it was a judgment, yes.
So it was warfare, and it was a judgment, right?
It was a judgment. That is correct.
Okay, so you're okay with it in that case, right?
As you see, if our God's wrath is serious, then we ought to obey him so we don't endure these judgments.
So if God told you, if you were a Mede and God told you to go destroy the Babylons and bash their babies to pieces and rape their women, you would do it, right?
You are correct, sir. That is the nature of warfare.
All right. Well, thanks for coming up, buddy. I think you thoroughly demonstrated what a piece of shit Christianity can turn you into here. Well, you heard it there. All God has to do is command them to bash babies' brains out and rape women, and they will happily step up and do the deed because they are commanded by their God. Unfortunately, God doesn't command anything. Another guy says, hey, God told me to tell y'all he said this. And then y'all say, yeah, I just got restricted, of course. At least they didn't ban the live there. But yeah, just got me a nice restriction there for hate speech. I'm about to have to bring this one to a close anyway. Oh, harassment and bullying, my bad. I misquoted mine. Anyway, Zach, what's up, big dog? Haven't seen you in a minute. Hope you're doing well, man. I'm not denying his judgment. I'm just saying God is a piece of giant shit for doing this kind of stuff. This is absolutely evil. And the very fact that you would get up here in front of almost 100 people and say, yes, I would bash those babies' brains out and rape those women if God told me to, just goes to show how absolutely dangerous and disgusting this religion really, really is. And that's why I started this channel, was to expose ideologies just like that. This is how I win debates. You come up here and defend this nonsense. That's a win for me just because you're trying to defend it. Doesn't matter. You can't justify this stuff. You can't do it. You can defeat me in this debate by not defending that stuff. The second you don't defend it, you beat me. I've lost the debate because I didn't achieve my goal. But clearly that did not happen there. Whoo! This shit's hard to hear every day. Oh shit, I forgot about Jerry again. My bad, Jerry. Oh, Matt left too. Yeah. I don't think nobody's concerned with what you're saying, Kavahim. You've thoroughly demonstrated that you are morally bankrupt. You have no idea about justice or love or anything else. You have divine commands, and that's all you know, and that's why this is so damn dangerous, because it literally turns you into a big old emotionless puppet who is morally bankrupt. And that is how they control you. And if they can get you to believe absurdities, they can get you to commit atrocities, which has happened about a billion freaking times in history. But anyway, guys, I guess we'll call it a day here. That's about all I can stomach for the day. I'll think. Yikes. Oh boy. Zach, my man, good to see you again, buddy. Glad you stopped in today. Hey, y'all don't forget, October, it's going down, Huntsville, Alabama, the Rocket City Reason Conference. Don't forget, Dr. Josh is the best friend of this channel, and he sells some awesome books. You can just search for Dr. Joshua Bowen, and man, you can get some good freaking knowledge from that man there. Pretty awesome. Anyway, yeah, I guess I'm a little over 2 hours, so that was a good stream. Bit depressing as usual, but you know, whatever. So hopefully a bunch of people listening said I do not want to be on that team, so let's go join the actual moral and rational group, which is the atheist. That's nice. Dude, the Israelites were sacrificing their children too. God told them to sacrifice their children to Him. God wasn't mad that child sacrifice was going on. God was mad child sacrifice was not being done to Him. They were sacrificing kids to Baal and not to Him. And God don't like that, man. God just don't like that. Anyway, guys, I guess we'll catch y'all back for a little thing in the morning. Maybe even later. You never know. I'm on vacation, so you never know when I might manifest and pop on up here. But anyway, guys, I appreciate the shit out of all of you. How am I any better? Because I don't advocate for bashing babies' brains out and raping women. That's why I'm not just better. That's why I'm in a different universe of better. What kind of stupid ass question is that? Anyway, guys, I appreciate everybody dropping in. I have no idea who's live to go raid. I'm on a restriction anyways. Eggs and grits. Just come on back. I'll be back tomorrow, and you have a conversation with us tomorrow about whatever. You can tell us how your God doing all that shit isn't evil. But it's evil when everybody else does it except for God. If God does the evil thing, it's never evil when God does it. You know, whatever. Anyway, guys, we will catch y'all later.